Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's the Man-Child. Alright, so today up for review, I just got in the new Masters of the Universe, Masterverse New Eternia Clawful. One of the coolest looking Clawful figures yet. You know, like a lot of the New Eternia figures coming out, like Faker, Buzz Off. I thought they were just fantastic looking. I knew once we got Buzz Off, I already reviewed him. He had the newer legs, the feet and stuff like that. So I knew we had a Clawful coming along, which he already announced, and a Whiplash too, which he's just starting to float around out there a little bit. I know a couple people got him, waiting for him, but yeah, it's pretty neat what they did with this guy. I mean, it's kind of like a mix between the Filmation, the vintage, what the new Origins do, a little bit of classics, maybe some 2000X, just because of the arm aesthetics and stuff like that, the super large claw. And there's a quick look at the art in the back of the box. Really cool art for Clawful. There's sitting on top of a rock there. Got the swamps in the background. Check this out. I got a little homage going back to, it looks like the Battle Bones hanging out back there. And here's a close-up of the bio. You want to pause and read that? And dropping down, these are all four figures as part of the Masterverse Wave 9 series. I already reviewed all of them. And there's a little more art on the right-hand side of the box, looking in from the window of Clawful, and there's more of his traditional vintage or classics look. Okay, we got Clawful out of the box with all his accessories, so we'll just take a quick look around, spin around a little bit. Yeah, just awesome. This is such a cool version of Clawful for the Masterverse line. The way he's, just his overall design. Now you can see, obviously he comes out of the box, his more traditional or vintage design, going back to the figure, what the classics did. Just typical armor, there's no other accessories on him, but the way the teeth come out, the face, yeah, looking great. And bringing in Clawful for a closer look. Look at that head sculpt. Incredible. I love it. So the articulation, left, right, go forward and all the way back, about that far with the chin up. So you got the teeth in there. Just typical, like, going back to the vintage toy Clawful classics, as I already said. Way all the teeth are sculpted. Almost look like they're, yeah, they're not glued. No, they're not glued. It's all part of the sculpt to the face, but I just love the different colors. Shades and everything over the face. Now, the jaw doesn't articulate. It never really did. The only other Clawful that had an open mouth was the Origins, and I will bring them in compare. We'll even try to switch the heads out because the pegs will work for fun a little while. But yeah, it's very iconic. Clawful. We all know what Clawful looks like. And check out the eyes. The eyes are unique. They're like, instead of black eyes, they're just pure white, very ghost-like. That's pretty cool. Has all typical scaling up top. You can feel the bumps and the ridges, and then yeah, the part of the shell, the sharp part of the shell up top here, right? So moving down to his chest and butt area, has a typical carapace, crab carapace, crustaceous shell, right? That we all knew Clawful for. That's pretty neat because under the neck here you have some scaling. And then, like I said, the shell, but it's all what's interesting with this? It's its actual buck, just like the new Eternia Battle Armored He-Man did. So you can't take this off that I can see. I mean, it looks like you can pop it apart here. You know, that's how it was assembled, but it's not. It's not like you can pull this armored off and have a typical Masterverse aesthetic under it, like the vintage did, like the classics. I'm okay with that, I guess. You know, we are used to that traditional look, but as a kid, I didn't like that with Clawful. I always wanted my Clawful. I didn't mind the Muscle Man arms, and then transition into some red scales and the claws. I never liked the armor coming off, and he just had a regular Muscle Man build. So I think that's pretty neat. You know, it's his own, yeah, just biology. So that's the front. You can see all the detail in it, and then spinning around, there's the back. That's awesome too. All the detail in the shell there. Now, as far as the articulation, right, we can spin left to right, or the ab crunch. Look at that, go all the way down about that far and back. But now you can see here too, even the lower part of the ab is, again, it's all part of the buck. It's its own, or stomach area. It's its own design, so this does not remove from what I can see. And of course, you can twist at the waist. Check out all the detail. So moving over to the right arm, yep, typical Clawful claw. Obviously one of the most important parts of Clawful, aside the head and body armored. Look at the size of that. It's going back to sort of, I want to say the 2000X inspiration, because it had a very big claw, and I do have a Staction figure, which I'll bring in and compare. Kind of show you what I'm talking about a little bit. And plus the belt, we'll get into that soon, but yeah, 2000X style in the front. Now with the so he has the regular He-Man, right? The He-Man arms. That dark tan color that Clawful had, of course, mixed with the red. So we go up, down, let's see, forward, back, all the way out, right? Bicep swivel, bend all the way up at the elbow, about this far, even with that big claw, and go all the way to his face, out, spin all around, as I said. Yeah, I got the weird, I hear this a lot in the comments about the cut. One thing people don't like about the Masterverse from day one is just that double elbow joint. You know, I like the idea because it has better articulation over like the classics, and it is pinless where the classics had big pins and didn't have this cut. But it's the only way to make give this type of flexibility in these figures. And yeah, I know when it's all the way out, it looks kind of weird. But when it's in like that, it don't look bad. It's yeah, typical Master Universe muscles just cut. Anyway, I brought that up because I constantly hear in the comments. I'm used to it. It is what it is. But moving on to the claw, check that out. I love it. Love all sculpting into it. Now the claw does spin. And check this out. So it's on. I thought maybe it'd be on the spring. It's not. It's just manual. So you can open all the way up about that far, close it. All the crusher claw, all the different sculpting in there, ridges, bumps and stuff, just like top of the head. Yeah, awesome job. Okay, I don't know if that comes off. No, I don't think it's meant to. I thought maybe we could switch it on the other arm, but I don't think it's meant to. Then moving on to the left side, articulations, all the same, up, down, the whole deal. Spin left to right, in and out. Elbow. This claw can spin, and this one's on I don't know if this is on, well, this is a buzz-off claw. So again, when buzz-off came out with the feet, these ridges on the legs and the claw, we knew Clawful wasn't far behind. So this can just spin, and it can't move in or out. Just the little claw does articulate from, I remember buzz-off, I think. Or no, maybe the outer part does. Okay, it opens up like that. So if you're not familiar with buzz-off, that's how that claw opens, closes. So moving back down to the waist, we already went over everything up here. We know it doesn't remove from what I can see. It's all part of the aesthetic. We know we can spin. I already said that. Cool blue belt here. This is New Eternia He-Man, the Viking He-Man type belt. Something like that. Yeah, typical loincloth. But this has this armor, 2000X inspired, I want to call it. Armor piece it's all part of sculpt of this belt. So it's not like it's separate. All right. And then, yeah, we know the loincloth is soft. Go up there and in the back. Can move. As far as the legs, so go all the way out as far as the split, right? Forward, back, the whole deal. That thigh cut. Bend all the way up at the knee. Got these little spikes, or call them ridges. Once again, like Buzz-Off and Whiplash will have, or has. Other side's all the same, and got some cool boots going here. And you can spin at the boot. I love that color. Metallic blue, just like the belt. And the sort of boot can spin, go up, down, as far as a foot, rock side to side. Once again, these are Buzz-Off and will be Whiplash boots. Yeah, great job on that. I don't know if his might have a little different detail, like some rocks in there, or bumps going back to these spines than Buzz-Off. I think it's the only difference from what I can see. So real quick, I want to bring Buzz-Off in. I don't know if this is important to anybody, but yeah, look at that. So Buzz-Off's boots has more like fur on it. Check that out. Clawful's has these spines and stuff. So yeah, you get a little extra detail there. But side that, they're the same boot. So moving on to his accessories, we get this gold style shield. Now this looks like the same exact shield that came with the TLO 2.0. I'm not sure why they included it with Clawful, because I don't ever remember a shield going back to the Filmation. I know the classics or vintage didn't have one. Now the classics did have a unique type of shield that came with their Clawful, like in this image here, which is pretty neat. So maybe it's going back to something like that to give him a shield, but you do get that. And for the next accessory, you get this cool armored band. It would obviously go on the left arm. It's going to have to slide over the claw. It's pretty neat. You got this strap here, so you get that. Then you get his typical green iconic mace that went all the way back to the vintage toy with the handle. So you do get that. It's really, yeah, I love the color and design on it. And you also get this Filmation inspired armored. So the Clawful in the Filmation cartoon had something very similar to this. Yeah, it's all painted in a gold plating color. Check that out. As a translucent jewel in front there, which light can pass right through it. It's 4 different straps, or I'm sorry, 2 here, and then it would flip over the body like that. I'll put on soon. Then you have these clips on the back. Now, this is going to be part for the secondary armor, which I'm going to bring in, or you can, looks like to me too, you can pop the mace on if you want to do something like that. I don't know if it's meant for that, but it does work. Then for his final accessory, you get this large, yeah, pointed horn shell that goes on the back. That's incredible. Again, kind of reminds me of something like the 2000X. Didn't have really big points, but like the hard shell in the back. So check that out. Just the color. It's pretty soft. Now you can see this looks like it's going to go over the neck. We'll pop the head off. Now, so you have a little clip in here, and it seems to me is that you'd probably want to use this in conjunction with this Filmation armored. I mean, maybe you don't have to, but once this goes over the neck, this is going to pop. You can see onto them locks. So that's what's going to hold it for the most part, from what I see. So setting Clawful up with some accessories. So I'll put the armband on. Goes up on, like, you know, you can see the point goes down. So we'll push it over the claw like this and work it all the way up to the bicep. Goes up around by the swivel like this. And next, let's put this Filmation-inspired armor on. So it's cool with this. You don't have to pop off the head. So we can slide it over the head like this. We'll put the two straps back here, flip it around. Then you can see we'll pop these two buckles in. Now, what's interesting with mine is you really got to push this armor down because I can only get one buckle through this side, and the other side keeps popping. It's almost like it's not long enough. It's probably just got to heat it up or something because the shell's so wide, but just kind of want to point that out. Okay, and here's a look with, of course, our armband on. I'll just leave that on, and the Filmation-inspired armor. Check that out without the back piece on. Take a look at that, and then, of course, I'll just throw this mace. I don't know if this makes sense, but I'll just pop this on the back before we'll put it in this claw soon. Something like that. So moving on with this larger shell piece in the back, giant shield kind of thing. This should be able to go over the head without popping it off, it looks like. So we can slip it over the neck like that. And then moving on to the back, once again, you can see this little piece back there has to snap into this Filmation armor to hold it correctly. And then it will look like that. And then we'll put the mace in the smaller claw. Got to kind of fit it in one of the grooves, lock it down. Swing this handle back maybe and put the claw up, something like that to hold it maybe. Okay, and here's a look at Clawful all armed up. Got his mace in the smaller claw. Going back to how we used to put it in the vintage. Got that large shell in the back, vintage-inspired armor, which you kind of need to hold the shell. We're going to try it without it. We know what the Filmation armor looks like without it. You want to use it in the little armband, so check that out. Look at it, it looks awesome. Wow. And you can also use a shield as well, I guess. I mean, I don't know what the point. You could just push the claw through here, something like that, and open it up and hold the little end. And then you would look something like that. You want to use the shield in that smaller clawed hand, and you could squeeze the mace in a larger clawed hand. Not that he ever used a claw for that, but take a look at that. So taking all the armored off, you didn't want to use this Filmation cross armor kind of thing. You want to just use this larger piece, snap it over the neck, and it can sit. It still works, even though it doesn't clip on something. It kind of, you know, what are you going to do? It's going to be on your shelf, but yeah, it works, looks cool. You don't really need the armor to use it if you don't want it. All right, so moving on to little comparisons. Of course, we have our new Masterverse Clawful next to, this is the 2000X neck extraction. So this was what Clawful looked like in that 2000X cartoon. Awesome piece. No articulation, that's what was bad with these. They were just giant statues that were supposed to mix in with your 2000X figure line in a day, but had the proper scale. So when the cartoon Clawful was really big. Now, I thought they would supersize this figure. That was a rumor. But they didn't, like they did with the new Eternia Beastman. I think Whiplash is as well. So they just kept them normal aesthetics, which is, you know, it's fair because that's how the vintage classics was. It could go either way. But I don't know. I see a little bit of inspiration just with the head design. He's got a heavy armor in the back too, a shell. See that? And that doesn't have the points. So this was a new design for New Eternia, which is cool. Yeah, that little piece in the loincloth. Same thing going here. The giant claw. Look how big that claw is, even though it don't move. So it kind of reminds me of, right? So check out those two together. And for a little size comparison, I'm just going to bring in the new Wave 9 Merman next to Clawful so you can just see the height difference and overall aesthetics and the body armored. Yeah, I mean, his body's a little wider because of the shell. Merman throws you off because of this extra wide armor, which a lot of people didn't like. I think it's pretty cool. Something with the back, but you want to check those two out together, see size comparison. So for next comparison, we have our Masterverse Clawful next to our Super 7 Club Grayskull Clawful. So this was the Clawful that jumped right out of the Filmation cartoons. We were kids and watched it, and you can kind of see where the inspiration for this cross armored or this, you know, overall armor came from, just from the cartoon. Of course, it was redesigned and better aesthetics. You want to check that out. And here's a quick comparison with our Master Universe Origins Clawful against our Masterverse Clawful. So yeah, very, you know, vintage inspired. Yeah, I love the open mouth with this one, but it was sculpted open. You can see that, but the larger claw, same mace, boots, the whole deal. So as far as little custom ideas between the Masterverse Clawful and Origins, I do get this a lot in the comments. I'm going to pop the head off this one, so that's what the ball peg looks like. And then, of course, our Origins Clawful. And this would be the head on the Masterverse Clawful, Origins head anyway, so it looks, you know, it's out of, yeah, it doesn't belong there. It's not too bad. It's just if the color was darker, it'd be cool. And of course, the big silly eyes. I love the open mouth with this one with the teeth, you know. That's the only thing. You want to check that out. And your articulation's all the same. Works well. And now where it really gets fun with the Origins is using that Masterverse head. That looks pretty cool on it, you know. A deeper red, but you can make it work. Articulation's all the same, so you want to check that out. So moving along with a little more customization, back to the origins. So we kept the head on, which looks cool. I put that arm piece on. It does work and slides up to the bicep. You still have articulation. And of course, our Filmation-inspired armor does work. You got to adjust it, push it down. These are a little sloppy, the top straps on this figure, but you do have room for adjustments. So you check that out. Looks pretty cool. And now here's a look with that big shell. Works on the back too. Just slipped it right over the neck. It snaps on this Filmation-inspired armor on the origins. Kept the head on, the whole deal. Check that out. Looks great. Still articulation at the waist, the neck. And now here's a look with the Origins Clawful head on the Origins Clawful body. You didn't want to use that more series head, but kept the Filmation armor on, the armband, and then this big piece in back. I'm going to check something like that out. Yeah, it works really cool on him. And here's a quick look with the classics. They were Clawful. Of course, I have mine in car, like most of my stuff. I'm going to check that out. Now, his armor did come off sort of like the Origins, but I don't think it would fit over him just because he already has armor that's part of the aesthetic. And it might work, it might not. I'm not sure, but I don't know why you would. But anyway, so those two together, and he has a traditional Origins head with the big fuzzy eyebrows. So speaking of classics, I do have a Classics 2000X inspired head that would replace that traditional head in the my Classics figure and card. So I might have to heat this up. Let's put this Classics head on the Masterverse body and check that out. Okay, so I got that head on. I did have to heat it up, but yeah, it articulates pretty good. A little tight, but check that out. That head looks awesome. Wow, colors and everything work perfect to the claw. Articulation's a little tight, but and this came out of the Classics Heads of Eternia pack. I like 5-6 different heads. So as far as Classics, yeah, I don't have a loose Clawful. I do have a Lord Grasp loose. So if you were to take Clawful's armored off, he does have a similar aesthetics like this, but I think he has scales. He comes with a claw like Clawful, so that's a good start. Has a squeeze head, but I'm going to take this cape and a couple things off. I just want to put the armor pieces on, see how they work on a Classics body. All right, there we go. Look at that custom. I don't even know what to call them, but yeah, so that's how this Filmation armor would fit on a Classics body if you had a Clawful loose, and the other piece too works. All right, moving on. I just wanted to see how that claw wraps around the waist of a figure or head. I put on this new Eternia Stratos waist. Just seems awful wide, but check that out. Holds him up now. I tried to, the elbow fall out. You put it in the right position. Kind of hold him. Stratos is heavy. You might have to use a figure stand, but it's cool you could do that with that big claw. All right, so I think we went over everything as far as articulation, switching parts, little customization, what I had available anyway. I mean, you can make a whole video about that. I think he's incredible. I love just the overall look, the claw. You got different armor, like the Filmation-inspired armor, this big piece in the back, or you can use one or the other or both, or leave them traditional, the mace. Yeah, the shield, I wish they would have made that Classics or something comparable to the Classic shield. That would have been cool, but now you get this. And two, this Classics head from that pack alone, 2000X Inspire head, looks really cool on this figure. But I'll be honest, I mean, I don't even need it. This head alone looks cool. I love the way the eyes are done, the teeth. Just the whole overall look of this figure. I mean, it just absolutely incredible. I couldn't be happier the way he come out. And I'm glad they did him in the new Eternia line, because it kind of let him go outside the box a little bit and just keep him traditional, but do some different... just mix different things up. That's what the new Eternia line's doing. You know, if it was Revelation, it would be stuck right to that cartoon, which wouldn't be bad. It'd be more traditional, but we got a good mix of everything here. I think he's great. So I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, take care.